Full team, the Plot Points players are back in the set. Welcome, friends. Welcome, players who are online with us, because Plot Points is the place where you, when you get a chance to watch the show, get to join in on all the fun and manipulate things. So thanks for being here with us, friends. Thanks for joining our VTT table. I play with some of the most amazing players on the internet. So let me have them introduce themselves real quick. I'll lead the way. I'm DM Sean, DM Legend. I'm the story guide for the game, and I just get together with other people and have a good time. Why don't you take it away, Mike, and we'll do Russ last.
Okay. Hey guys, I'm Mike, also known as Oreo X Wolf, but here I'm Den of Wolves, and I'm excited to see what the deal is with these ninjas and why it's such a big secret to destroy the circus. But I'll toss it back to Kat.
Hello, Katrin here. I play Anna. I'm a half-elf ranger. Gonna have lots of fun tonight. It's my last regular night, though. And after tonight, I will be on whenever I get a Monday holiday. Because, see, here in Guam, it's already Monday. And I will pass it off to Brock.
Hello, everybody. I'm Brock. In here, I'll be playing the Dragonborn Druid Blaze. Hopefully, we'll be able to bring some more exciting whip-cracking times tonight. Take it away, Eric.
All right. What's going on, guys? My name's Eric, and I play the Arakocra Spitfire known as Griffin. And I'm just super excited to find out whether or not Griff gets one-shotted the first, 2 minutes of this session, because we left it off last time with Griff literally coming face-to-face with this whatever it may be and getting ready to shoot me. So that's going to be fun. Other than that, I'm going to go and send it off to our fellow newcomer here, Russ.
I'm Russ. I play the human paladin Verdic, and I'm actually just looking forward to see if he can be of any use to this amazing band of characters.
Wonderful.
Hopefully.
Well, we know we're going to make some room for you, and we're going to make that happen here tonight. Unless, of course, our 12th man, our viewers, gets into the game, and then I never know what the heck's going to happen, because those folks really have a knack for changing the entire game. That being said, we're jumping right into the action. When we left off last week, these individuals had been hunting down. They'd found out that the circus, which had started on fire right during the main climax of the main act, was a sabotage. At first they thought it was them, some wild magic from our Arakocra Griffin, but no, it turns out somebody had put in a giant barrel of oil in what should have been water, so that when the fire struck, there was this massive explosion. People burning, people fleeing the circus, some people died. It was really kind of a shame and sad. In the meantime, they've been running an investigation. They tracked down an individual who was strangely heavy, had strange footprints and whatnot, but the strangeness didn't end there. When they finally caught up to the individual, who was hanging at the back of some of the circus roundabouts, the circus helpers, our Dragonborn that Brock plays approached him, and the individual freaked out, tried running away and whatnot, and there was this instant awareness on Brock's character Blaze's behalf that there was magic afoot, because his hand went through an illusion, but also that the roundabouts didn't know this individual. The individual tried running. Everybody was swooping in from all directions. We had the Griffin flying in. Not the Griffin. Griffin, the Arakocra, flying in. We also had Anna coming up. We had Blaze. We had the Tabaxi. Den of Wolves coming in. And they all surrounded this individual. Quickly in the battle that ensued, they took him out with the Arakocra blasting magical energy to take off a leg and damage this thing, and the illusion failed, and they found out that what they thought was a person was actually a construct of some sort, a mechanical man, if you will, with cloth where skin should be. The individual was killed, and Den of Wolves invaded the mind before the individual could go out, but thanks to some lucky rolls and whatnot, the person actually, whether you want to call it a reboot or came back to life, expelling Den of Wolves. Now, during their investigation, they'd noticed many shadowy figures. Ninja, shinobi, whatever you want to call them, were watching at different points, as well as here. Well, they noticed that most of these shadowy figures had left, but Griffin spotted one that the others hadn't noticed. And in a climactic end, even as one black figure was rushing at the group from behind that Blaze noticed, the Arakocra went aloft to get a better look at this one on top of a wagon. In this exciting end, not as exciting as the cat going by, in this exciting end, Blaze takes out the individual running at them by throwing a dagger. The Arakocra goes aloft as this black ninja layers up this long barrel aimed right at him. The dagger passes over the head, and they realize it wasn't a black-robed ninja coming at them, but the black Kenku that is part of the party that had been running to catch up at their request. They had almost taken out poor Robin once again. And we pick up with the aiming in and the attack on Griffin above, as the friends below, only having seen him go aloft, don't even know what's happening yet. And I'll be making a roll against your AC, which is, for my, as I scroll down the list here, wrong list. What is your...
Yeah, should be 12.
Thank you. I grabbed the wrong game. Whoops. Yeah. All right. I'm going to have to fix that here in a minute. There we go.
I don't know. You might want to use Bose's AC.
I really wish I could.
Bose has some kicking AC. Bose is using his AC elsewhere right now. Wow.
Yes,
With that, I can go over. I can just ask you, how many hit points you got?
oh, shoot. Yeah, that's going to be 11 hit points right now.
Okay. And that'll be max on that one. I rolled a nat 20, that's why. I'm like, okay.
Oh.
And we have exploding dice in this game, so things go bad. As you look, you see this thing, and your friends all hear this. No, actually, you really don't hear much. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Constitution. Gotcha. All right. There we go. Okay.
Why are the dice
Wow,
rolls not
that's
showing
nice.
up?
It's a little delayed.
Oh, that's why. I know what's going on. Oh, I couldn't figure out why the dice rolls weren't showing up.
Nat 20.
Wow, wonderful. If only nat 20s did something in ability checks. Unfortunately, we're always a teaching stream. Never forget when you're playing at your table that nat 20s only work for attacks. Other than that, it's just a 20 because your ability checks go all the way up to 35. Otherwise, you're going to have players say, I want to try to persuade the king to give me his kingdom. Oh, I got a nat 20.
It's mine.
You can't do it. You know, it's like, sorry, it's not happening.
Yeah.
Some things are just impossible, and some things are really, really improbable, which is why nat 20s don't work on those. To that end, you have made your Constitution saving throw. You got a 21, which is awesome. As this thing impales into your chest, and you put your hand over something sticking out of your chest, it's small, and you immediately, it falls from your fingers as your body goes numb, and you fall out of the sky. I believe we had said you'd soared up 30 feet at that time.
Yeah, if that.
Yep. So you're going to take falling damage on top of it.
Of course.
You already took 13 points of damage from the initial hit. And you're about to take falling damage, which means that'll be a critical. So as you guys are watching, right above you, Robin comes rushing in as Griffin falls out of the air, hits the ground. Now, you're already dead, so this isn't going to go beyond your max hit points, but you will take 2 death fails automatically from hitting the ground. Because...
Wow.
Didn't try and catch him, huh?
So somebody's got to do something because next round would be your third. Yeah, I kind of... You know, so finally we see the disadvantage of flying. When you die flying, you fall.
Yeah.
Okay, as long as Anna sees it, she can go over there and help him out.
Well, incoming rushing is Robin. Robin, who doesn't have any healing, sadly. But he screams out Griffin's name. In true Keiko fashion. Oh, I don't know where that came from, but that's obviously how Robin likes to say it.
His communication skills aren't really up there.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't have anything for him.
What are you guys doing?
Just to try to check him, but I can't heal him.
All you saw from the player's perspective was him fly up and then fall back down, crashing to the ground.
Well, I definitely running over there.
You can see this 3-inch long spike sticking out of him, his chest.
Well, as I pull it out, I put my hand over the wound and cast Cure Wounds.
Oh, you can do that. Oh!
All right.
Wow. And double healing, which was granted, means that you get to not only roll for the healing, but then you get to double it.
Well, sadly, I only got a 4, so it becomes an 8.
Hey, 8
That's
is
not
a lot
bad.
better than another. Bam! You crash back. Yo. What does that look like, Griffin, when you come back from this?
So, Griffin, right?
I should tell you this
When-
first. You're paralyzed, so I'll let you speak and whatnot, but you're paralyzed.
Like, just, like, permanently?
Don't know.
We'll see.
Oh, my God. Okay. Like, I could speak or can I not
You
speak?
can speak,
Am
yep.
Okay, cool.
Speak.
So
your head.
Griffin opens his eyes and, like, you could just see the bewildering, like, look on his face, like, and sees Anna and says, what just happened to me? Why can't I move?
That I don't know. Apparently, you got shot down.
Oh, goodness. What's going on? Is that a hole in my chest?
You
I
couldn't
pulled
kill
this
him and
out.
keep him out.
And what she's holding in front of her is this long black spike with black, almost like feathers on the end of it and whatnot, about 3 inches long. Your blood's still on the tip of it. As well as something else oily.
Oh, no.
I'm going to assume, being a ranger, she's not touching it.
You knew.
The oil. She's grabbed it by the feathers.
I'm too smart for that.
Sweet Lord, and like he gets really woozy, and then just like he just like is out of it right there. Just after seeing that his own blood has been shed, he is just baffled by this right now.
Blaze.
After closing in, am I able to see where this came from or anything going on?
The only thing you saw that you're aware of is your friend launched into the sky and then fell back like a rock. He didn't try to land at all, landing on his back, I'm going to guess.
Okay. Once I get to him, I'm going to cast Healing Word.
Healing
There
word,
you
it
go.
is.
More healing.
All right.
Okay, do it up.
She got what she got. All right.
Nice, another set. Dude, you may not be able to move, but you're feeling like the energy. Like, don't know why I can't move, but I can feel on my...
After I received that healing, right? Griffin's just gonna be like, "Hey, that feels good, but this son of a bitch needs to die." And then he's just trying really hard to like do something, but he's just like, God, like freaked out and just angry now. More energetic, clearly.
Make another con save. We're considering this another round
All right.
because Blaze took the time to look around before healing you, so we're just kind of, milking the clock a little bit.
we need a bard with some calm emotions.
Constitution save. Nope, that one does not pass, so no change.
All right.
Den of Wolves, what are you doing?
Now that he seems to be fine, I'm gonna just try to check around and see if I see anything, like any of these shadow figures or anything ready to attack us. Basically, just make sure we're safe, that we're just hanging around in the open.
Make a perception roll with advantage. For our viewers, normally I have different overlays, but tonight with our guest in, you may notice that the overlay is a little different, and we will be using this one whenever we have a
Didn't help
guest.
much.
And it also means it will just be static for the evening, so we won't be using different overlays.
That'd be an 8.
An 8. Okay. You notice that it's very dark out, and so there's lots of room, and you're pretty sure in addition to the individuals that are coming towards you from over where the mourning was happening, where they were lamenting the loss of the individual that died, or individuals that died, there's probably other figures over there. You're pretty certain, you know. There's just way too many shadows around, you know. Just the odds are there.
Is there a tent nearby where I can try to get us like out of the open?
Well, don't forget you're right next to the circus master's wagon, as well as the roundabouts who have their locations. My Tushi is literally right nearby. Don't forget you're surrounded by all the roundabouts who wanted to basically kick and kill and destroy this. But Blaze, who had ended last session dragging the metal figure over towards the circus master, has run back. So presumably he either got that figure into the circus master's area wagon, or has stashed the body somewhere because he's back now.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna try to clear, like, verbally, like, everyone move out in case there's more people attacking. Like,
make a persuasion roll.
And I'll hold up the arrow. You really don't want one of these in you.
Ooh, she's giving you advantage.
Okay.
Wow, that was already a really good roll.
Yeah, we're good with the first one.
There we go.
Sometimes that first roll is all we need. And because, you know what, it's so sad. You're really unlucky, buddy. You can re-roll that now.
Nice.
For our viewers, our awesome player Mike reminded me that during character setup, he had gotten unlucky, which means that 3 times per day, I am able to make him re-roll a dice. So, yeah, unfortunately, when she holds up the sticker and says, you know, you don't want to get stick with one of these, your persuasion becomes more of an intimidation, and the crowd doesn't do well with that. They feel very threatened, and you start hearing voices challenge you. Who are you to say this? Who are you to try and command this? Hey, and somebody yells off, and it's probably that little punk that was getting in the face of Blaze before, is like, you know, oh my God, they're the real threat here. Look at this. You know, and they're trying to hide the person that was, you know, set the fires, because that person's been dragged off. So now they're attempting to basically bum rush towards where Blaze has pulled the body, which is the circus master's tent. The calm older voice is setting in, working with him. I'm going to cut for one moment over to Russ. Russ, you have been at the mourning area, which is right inside the circus, from the deaths that happened earlier today, which nobody knows exactly how. A lot of theory was that the new circus performers that came, those would be my dice being dropped on the floor, from the new circus performers that came, which included somebody very familiar to you, they were being sort of blamed for the bad luck that happened, lighting a fire, and the deaths that happened not just to... Well, actually, the theory right now is that no circus performers were injured, and only people who were in the crowd and the audience got injured. Some people were trampled in a panic. Some people died. Many people were burned, including the Emperor's people, because the land that you're in right here off of the Eldine Bay has an emperor. This is all the way in the northwest of Eberron, right up near the Demon Wastes. And right there on the border lies this land that supposedly is part of the Eldine Reaches, but seems to claim their own emperor. Not a king, not like King Galifar that was, not for the War of the Throne, but this emperor. And there's an island that has a floating city above it that is often referred to as Havin, or heaven to many. And it floats above what is known as the city beneath, or the city in shadow. That is where you're located right now. There's a circus here, which you attended, and now you're here with all the mourners. But it seems like there's an alert. Some people rush in, and the circus master, who's been helping to guide things in some of the conversations, is pulled away, and many individuals are running out after her. What do you want to do? Stay and help the other individuals mourning? And I should probably also add, I don't know whether you were aware of coming in here or not, but you find yourself holding this doll. Well, I shouldn't really call it a doll so much as it's a wooden puppet with a tiefling set of horns atop its head and a monocle over one eye. and it looks at you, the head turning on its own, the eyes roll up and twitch a little bit, and it laughs. You're muted, buddy.
Yeah. I just kind of sneer at the puppet, and I have an empty satchel on my side, and I just kind of shove it inside the satchel and slop the flap down. I don't have time for you right now. And I'm going to go to assist the mourners.
There's a muffled cry from inside, and you start working to help some of the others, providing them comfort and solace. What kind of words do you give them, or prayers? What does that look like?
I try to just go over some of the prayers that I kind of learned to develop during my time training as a paladin, and just try to offer some kind of solace to them about that we'll move forward from here. Things will improve. You know, I'm trying to recite the words, and I'm trying to inject some amount of persuasion in there.
Go ahead, make a persuasion roll. I love it.
Yeah.
Let's see how you do.
See if it'll behave here. Here we go. Does it work?
As you do it, many individuals listen to you, but they listen with sort of a deaf ear. Do you talk about a god at all, or anything like that?
I don't mention a god. I don't mention a god yet.
Okay. As you do, you offer the words of solace, and they just seem to feel that you quickly understand that you're an individual walking with literally just in plain clothes like them, trying to give them solace and whatnot. Actually, that would give you, now that I think about it, that would actually give you advantage on the roll. I'm going to let you roll again. Because now that I think about it, you're not dressed like a military person. In fact, I should even ask, do you have any weapons visible?
I have the pole arm stretched. It's a long. No, actually, no, I don't, because it's in my pocket. That's right. So no, they can't see anything that would be considered military.
Fire chick. Okay, so yeah, then you definitely have advantage on this, and you get to roll it again. Well, that's quite a bit better. And you know what? While initially resistant to you, you get about 3 or 4 who gather around you, thanking you for your words, and looking over the fact that you're dressed a little bit better than some of them. Not like any finery or anything like that. But you notice that these people here are very poor, and they live a very, not destitute, but very servile life. They don't have a whole lot. In fact, the circus, which you didn't remember buying tickets for, is because it was free today. Anyone could come. And as you're there, you also learn from this conversation, they make the comment, they're like, why is it that they ask you the question, why did we have to pay with people dying just so the emperor could enjoy a circus?
There's no real way to be sure why things happen the way they do. Sometimes the only thing we can do is choose how we react to the things that happen, and trust in ourselves and each other that whatever comes our way, we can move forward from. They seem to take your words in heart and nod along with you, as if your words have a wisdom that they're not used to hearing here, and a solace that converts them. One of them asks you, do you live nearby? They say your voice sounds like you come from somewhere far off. And you realize that, again, all these people, for lack of, for our newcomers who are in here, this land that they've come to is more of an Asian setting. So the human population here, which is almost 100% human here, also has that Asian look about them. So they look very different than different people in different regions of the world. What do you look like? Being very fair-skinned and no hair and the blue eyes. I probably don't exactly fit in. I probably stand out really well.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna look at them and be like, I choose to live among the people. I have no one home.
Ooh, wow. How wonderfully mystic of you. Very nice. Very nice indeed. They accept your rationale in stride and just find that you're a real blessing to them. You're going to stay there with them, and I'll cut back over to our group who is dealing with the downed friend, the Griffin.
you guys help Griffin. Griffin, I want you to make another 3 rolls while your friends are about this. You make those rolls while I talk to Mike. Mike, you have.
Sorry, Sean. You said Constitution, correct? Still.
Yep, you got it, buddy.
Right.
Right on the button. Mike, you notice that there's multiple places you can hide from your skills. You could be underneath any of the wagons nearby. You could also try to go up high. But also you've watched where a couple of the roundabouts have gone, and you realize there's some tents further in the back. You've just caught bits of conversation and whatnot. So you know you could head probably about 100 yards away and find some tents where the roundabouts go. Where's your best pick?
Well, I guess a tent, because I want to try to get Griffin out of the immediate danger that now this crowd also is part of.
Okay.
So, I guess since I trust the circus master a little more, I'll try to like grab Griffin and like get him towards the circus master's wagon.
Fantastic. You right in front of Anna and whatnot, you hoist this up and you start hauling him off. Griffin, you can feel him, but literally you can do nothing about it. You're like this sack of potatoes as he rolls you over. But while he's picking you up, there's Robin trying to also push and help pick you up and whatnot. And any items that fall off of you, Robin's very quick to pick up, and make sure that, all your stuff goes with his master and whatnot, because he wants to make sure you're fully set, in order to fly. Now, understand that Robin is pretty, he's broken up guy himself, as he's gone through quite a bit. And again, don't forget, Robin has a very singed look. He's been burned. For those of you that didn't see this before, Griffin was aware of it, but you aren't. And Robin's lost most of one kind of his vestigial wings that really don't help him fly, but it's burned pretty well. Blaze, what about you? As you're seeing Den of Wolves pull him over.
Did I hear that correctly? A few minutes ago, you said they had hauled off the body.
You did last session. Last session, you said you wanted to drag him over to the circus masters. At least that's the way I remember it.
So he's over by the circus master's wagon.
You've already stashed him, and that's up to you. Did you want to put him inside that mesh that changed colors and whatnot, or did you want to actually go inside her wagon, or what?
Just inside the mesh tent. And now, is that where Den of Wolves is dragging? Okay, so then we'll all just head to that area. But I'm definitely in a defensive posture and trying to place myself between the wounded and any direction, kind of preventing a barrier so like he can't be attacked again.
Perfect. As you go into this defensive mode, and I'm going to assume, Anna, you're going with them, right?
Oh, yes.
Doesn't take long before all of you are inside the mesh. Blaze standing outside it, warning the others off. And Blaze, you can notice from here, one of the interesting things is while they're willing to get in your face, and this is only a mesh, like a screen, none of them touch the screen. None of them seem willing to do the obvious thing and push their way in. And it's something that you become very aware of because they're more willing to like go face to face with you than actually do what all of you did, which is go inside. Once inside, you see this mechanical figure not just laid out, but actually has part of its arm open and is manipulating things inside of its arm. And it looks up, surprised, and the eyes rotate a little bit, and you hear some cogs and whirls and whips as it moves around. And it says, "I cannot stay here." And the voice, Den of Wolves, is exactly like the figure that you saw before inside of its mind.
I'm going to move to, after I get Griffin inside, I'm going to move to try to restrain him a bit. And I'm just going to, like, as I'm doing this, I'll be like, well, you can't go until we get answers.
Plus, there's a mob out there that wants your head, so I doubt you want to go out there.
And his hands are still tied up with the whip.
That's right, yeah.
There we go.
So, yeah, he's, I guess he's not working on his arm, so thank you for that. I'll drop you a couple plot points. That was the DM's mistake. Always be humble when your players do that, and reward them for helping you to make the game even better.
I forgot that it was the hands. For some reason, I kept thinking it was the feet, but it's the hands. He did correct me last session, too, on that.
The feet are burned.
One foot's freaking hanging off. That's what he should be working on.
Yeah.
Burned, fried, man. He just, like, launched into that leg. Oh, my gosh. Russ, how goes things back at the morning?
Seems to be that we're getting some people to disperse and get them back to their homes. Do I hear any of this other chaos going on? Am I close enough for all that?
No, it's quite a bit of ways. It's actually the direction of where when the circus master and all those other individuals left. In fact, some of the people are asking you, what do you think happened there? Because they just figure you're one of them, and they're just having fun speculating. What do you think these circus freaks are doing and whatnot? What would cause them to be pulled away now? But the music has stopped now that most of the circus individuals are over. It was a circus morning, but it was for the villagers.
It's a good question. Not much pulls them away from their craft. Maybe I should go and investigate.
While they find the word investigate an odd one, they're like, yeah, you should go look into that. They're like, who is this guy? But again, they're looking at the way you're dressed is different, and your words have carried a lot of weight with them. So they depart in kind, allowing you to go, thanking you for the words of wisdom that you've shared with them, and you realize that you've made some new friends here, wherever you go. Slappy, on the other hand, inside your pouch, has kicked you a few times ineffectively against your leg, clearly upset. But you also know that Slappy's got claws, and if Slappy wants to do something more, he probably will.
I'm going to turn around and just up against the satchel.
You punch Slappy, firmly, hit the wood and whatnot, and, there's a cackling inside, and he goes, "You can't hurt wood, stupid!" And the voice and some of the other individuals who are around you look, thinking that you've thrown your own voice doing something. That seems pretty odd.
The ventriloquist.
I'm just going to mumble, yeah, but it makes me feel better.
The individuals wonder, if you're actually part of the circus as they let you go. A short time later, you're approaching where it appears to be a sort of mob. And there you find the circus master making her way through the others, telling them to disperse and whatnot. And she seems to be entering into a tent. And as she does, you watch the tent actually light up. Now, the tent is attached to a wagon, so it's more like an overhang or a veranda, if you will, with these screens hanging down. And inside are a group of figures, and lo and behold, you recognize one instantly. And your heart, of course, is like, here you've been trying to avoid this individual, and there they are. And as you come to that realization, almost like there's a psychic link between this little being that you can summon, there is a laughter. And you realize the laughter is actually not from inside the bag. Slappy is sitting on the ground next to you. Just laughing and laughing. And he goes,
"Can I dismiss this guy?"
Normally, when you first had experience with him, you could never keep him out for more than about 10 minutes. And slowly, over the time, that grew longer and longer. And now it's come to the point that Slappy's out almost all the time. You used to have to uncork him from this magical bottle and release him to use him. But now it seems like you have no control other than to try to ask him to go back, which Slappy doesn't listen to you. Occasionally he's gone. Sometimes he's back, but he's almost always about.
Man, what a distraction. I'm just going to pay no mind to him, and I'm going to see if I can get closer to the tent.
It's easy enough to catch up. She's just going into the flap. Those inside, you see that the circus master has parted some of them, and Brock, while some of them were getting right in the face of Blaze and it was really coming to a head, the circus master has shown up in time. And this short little woman, like I said, who, like I said, probably isn't even 5 foot tall, maybe taller than a gnome, but, her hair is as tall as her, that big old hat on her head, that gives her the height. They all respect her. They all back off and whatnot. And she disperses them in her kind of little fashion, says, "Oh, no, go on, friends. No, nothing here. We've got, these are my friends. Here's my guests and whatnot." And as soon as the others have all cleared off and whatnot, which leaves Russ's character standing there behind you, unseen to everybody else inside the tent, because they're inside the tent. Then there's big old Dragonborn, then there's little woman, and then there's Russ. So kind of picture an alignment of the planets. You can't see him yet. She says, "Okay, inside to you, Blaze."
Yeah,
Blaze,
I'll step inside and start going over everything, getting her up to date so that she knows what all's going on.
She parts the thing and goes inside, and now all of you inside can see this one individual standing out there. What do they see, Verdic, when they look at you?
So he's a much older gentleman. He's looks to be between late 40s, early 50s. He's got a weathered but fair face, bright blue eyes. He keeps almost a shaven appearance on his head, but it looks like it still has military angles to it. He maintains a mustache and a beard that seems to be getting long but still has straight lines. And he's just in very plain dress clothes, but they're not torn. They're clean clothes with no holes or anything like that, so it looks like they're maintained. And he has a pair of leather gloves, and there's a polearm strapped to his back, and just a messenger bag looking satchel that doesn't seem to have much in it.
Can Griff see this new individual?
You can, and Griff, you've now are getting a tingling sensation along your arms. I'd like you to make another con save, please.
Sure, no problem.
Does this new guy look familiar?
You know exactly who it is. Have you seen him? You have trained this individual before. So enough time has passed, Griffin, for this momentary paralysis to start wearing off, and you realize the tingle is starting to get control. So you can role play that you're starting to move. You can like get up with help and whatnot, and over time you'll be. But if we get into combat or something, you're toast, buddy.
Okay.
So.
Well, Griff is like, you could see like his wings are starting to move, but they're not like frantic. They're like shaky, frantic, almost like they're trying to move, but you know the muscles aren't really cooperating here. And the same goes for all of his arms. But then he just kind of stops, and he's still on his back right now, and then just like looks straight at the new guy and says, "Who the hell are you?"
Now you're outside the tent still. Arimathea, the circus master, looks and sees him and says, This person was at the morning. You know him? Wait, you don't, obviously." And she points to Griff. She goes, and she looks over, she goes, "What do you want?" And she looks to Verdic as she asks the question.
Townsfolk in mourning were curious about the chaos that was happening. So to keep them all from being too curious, I thought I'd come and look into it myself.
He's fine. He could come in. It's okay.
Well, new friend, did you happen to see a dark individual in the rooftops over there, or anything like that? Because I'm really trying to find that person right now.
Unfortunately, I haven't seen anyone. Who's this person that you're searching for?
I don't know. He just shot me out the air. I'm pretty angry right now. Just leave me alone real quick. Why are you talking to me so much? Jesus.
While you're doing this, an argument has ensued between the, I don't know how to exactly describe it. For right now, I'm just going to call him the mechanical man, and Robin. The mechanical man is demanding that Robin give him his cane. And Robin's like, absolutely refusing, repeating some choice words of Griffin, which aren't always politically correct, basically in the guy's face, and holding onto it and keeping it back. In the meantime, Arimathea takes her advice and allows Verdic to come in. She looks at him warily, though, wondering. She goes, "Normally I only allow individuals into here that are thinking of joining the circus, but if you know Anna here," she goes, "I suppose I could make a brief exception and talk to you about joining."
Well, I'm curious. You apparently didn't go very far with your trait. I mean, don't you have a bow with you?
So in trying to read the room, Verdic's going to reach behind his back and take the polearm out from its holster, and he's actually going to, I'm going to use my bonus action, or just a bonus action, to sit there, and I'm just going to speak the word of command, and I'm going to shrink it down into the size of the pen.
Strike it down into what?
Back into the pen form.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, so basically out of nowhere he says this word, and this massive, you said it's a glaive? Or
it's a long spear.
Long spear. This huge spear appears. Beautiful, glistening tip and whatnot, silver tip. And then in another moment, he speaks it again, and whew, it's gone. Into his hand. This just feathered quill in his hand.
I may not look like much of a circus performer, but I have a few tricks.
And as he does, suddenly the mesh goes crimson red, bright, as if flowing with light. And the wagon that the tent is attached to, you hear this click, clack, snap, as if locks were falling into place. The windows, which were open before to let air in and out, literally the shutters snap shut on the tent and whatnot. Arimathea looks around and she goes, there's a threat. She goes, what do you really want here? And she challenges Verdic.
I'm going to keep the pen in the pen form. Let's put it in my my right pocket.
She goes, no, it has nothing to do with weapons. These individuals have weapons. What is your real intent? I would like all of you to make perception rolls for me, please. Oh, I forgot that I've had the dice roll up there the whole time, and my poor guest chat has not been visible on the screen. Twitch chatters, I apologize for that. I love when you guys are here. We love to make you laugh. We love to let you be part of the story, and let that be part of our Twitch stream.
13, not bad.
Wow. So, Den of Wolves, Griffin, you may not be able to move much, but you see it. And let's see, Blaze, what did you get? Blaze. I don't 14. See a Blaze roll. Oh, there it is, 14. Yeah. Sweet. So I've got Griffin and Den of Wolves. Griffin, you saw something shadow-like when he was doing this, almost like a magician. He was trying to distract you as the spear came out and whatnot. And you're like something shadowy along the ground. And Den of Wolves, you caught it, whether it was a massive rat or something else, came streaking in along the ground while he did this display and ran towards the wagon itself, like trying to stay in the shadows while he was doing this.
Okay, I'll point that out to everyone. Like, I saw something move near the wagon, or towards the wagon.
The same. I think it's that dark creature that shot me at the air. As he has like limp arms and like limp wings, just really trying to like move around.
Like the idea that you're just desperately like pushing on the ground, your hands just sliding around.
Let me up! Let me up!
Let me at him.
Verdic has inspiration.
Who has inspiration? Oh, Verdic! All right, let me give you your inspiration, Verdic. Boom! Well done. Thank you for that. Now, everybody in the party has inspiration. Remember, you use that in advance of your roll. You just say, I'm rolling with inspiration, and you give it to yourself, and I'll take it off the screen. And then you get a chance to get a much better chance at making your success. Where he points to, you see white eyes underneath the wagon, right where the wagon and the mesh meet. And there's a small figure there with horns curled back around the sides of its head. And the individual, what you really catch in this crimson light is the red light glowing off of what appears to be a golden monocle in glass as this thing looks out at you. It appears to be a humanoid, like a tiefling, if you will. Robin, to the rescue, immediately yells his war charge, imitating Griffin, and charges in, swinging this cane that he has in his hand at the creature in a melee attack.
Attaboy.
As he does so, you realize the agility of this little thing, which rolls, but seems to not go under the wagon so much as like bounce off of something there and then scurry towards the table underneath you all. And there's this laughter associated. And it rolls and runs
as it goes under the table too, and you realize whatever it is can talk.
Oh.
What in the hell is that?
Yeah, where'd that come from?
Verdic will be like, beware of that creature. He is no ordinary monster.
Arimathea says, anyone that brings in a challenge here forfeits themselves. And she tells it, come out. Blaze, what are you doing?
Am I within grasping distance to reach down and grab this thing?
You could certainly try, brother. Go ahead. I love it.
That's what I'm going for. I'm gonna
Make
reach
that
down and
athletic. Get in there and make it.
Shouted my warning. That's all I could do.
Normally it would be athletics. However, we're going to go for acrobatics since he's trying to kind of get under the table and whatnot. So it's less strength-based and more agility. So, wonderful. So, unfortunately, with Griffin not being able to move out of your way and whatnot, you're kind of like struggling to get around the bird and the others in this small space. And this thing just laughs and rolls to the other end of the table and starts dodging in and out of legs because you guys are all much bigger, so it has that ability to kind of roll in and out. What do you rest of you want to do?
If it tries to go between anywhere near me, I think I'm going to try and grab it too.
Okay, let's make a group check using 5e rules. That means at least half of you must pass. So 3 of the 5 of you must pass a check. But the DC is much lower because now there's a lot of hands trying to grasp this thing. Everybody go ahead and make acrobatics checks. No, let's make sleight of hand. Let's do something really different. Just re-roll it. Do sleight of hand.
Oh,
Sleight of hand. Sleight of hand.
Blaze is like, but I had awesomeness.
Dadgummit.
I'll give you yours, Blaze. Don't worry about it.
That's all right. I already rolled.
Oh, okay. 11, 6, 10. Oh, my goodness. Slappy's rolling around, laughing, running around each of you. Just like, you know, reaching up. Oh, I should probably roll for Arimathea because I don't know. She's not going to try to grab it. She's got something else up her sleeve.
No?
She'll fry. You know, no. She'll unleash hell on this thing.
can I attempt to cast a spell?
You most certainly may. Brother, what do you got?
I'm going to try and cast sleep on him.
You actually know from your past experience, because you've been with him for now, I'm going to think probably the better part of a year, that it doesn't work. You've tried it before.
Yikes.
It doesn't go to sleep.
No, he quite often watches the human paladin while he's sleeping and wakes him up.
Creepy.
Yeah.
Durham's like, I want to play Slappy. Welcome, Shade. Welcome, Shade. Predicted no. Oh, I didn't even see what the prediction was for. What prediction did we have?
That was from last night.
Oh, well, he predicted
I don't think
no.
we've
It
done one
says.
today.
Predict whether Slappy wins the battle. Right now, Slappy's winning. Okay, so all of you have failed your first roll. Slappy, on the meantime, runs up, grabs onto the back of Verdic's clothes, and runs up and gets on his shoulder, slapping at both sides of his head with the little wooden hands, and starts laughing. He goes, "Who's the puppet now? Who's the puppet now?" And starts slapping him, this little tiefling doll. I will give you a free bonus. You can have a low DC. Go ahead and make a bonus. Go ahead and make your own acrobatics or athletics, whichever is better for you, to grab Slappy and hold on to him. Grabbing him's easy, and as he wrestles against you, he just laughs and laughs in this high-pitched, annoying laughter. And he's like, "You're the puppet. You're the puppet now."
I don't think you'd really appreciate it if I took you to a circle of magicians. I don't imagine you'd last very long as an experimental object.
He says, "Just try it. Think you can separate yourself from Slappy, do you?"
I'm willing to try if you don't hold still.
Slappy, other than slapping at his head, doesn't appear to try to get away from him very much. He goes, "It's better than your arm up my butt."
Keep it up and I might just try it with 2 hands.
Slappy laughs, really high-pitched and whatnot. An arm up the butt game. I love this. So, Slappy laughs really loud. Oh my goodness. And
roll a persuasion on this?
You may. You most certainly may. Oh, I love it. I think that's very appropriate. Yeah, Slappy's not fighting to get away from you as much. Arimathea asks you what it is and why you have it.
To be quite honest, I'd love to know that myself. I made a pact to save someone long ago, and it's brought me nothing but trouble since.
She says, I'm feeling the same way about hiring all of you. And she motions towards the construct and says, what is this? And the voice of the construct
the solution
switches.
to your problem.
Right? That's what blew up your circus.
The voice switches into this almost regal but lower tone as it says, I did no such thing. Den of Wolves, you recognize this voice as exactly the voice, again, that you already encountered when you were inside the construct's mind. It says, I did no such thing. I was merely here, watching the circus, making sure that the Emperor would be safe. Of course, I am a guest of the Emperor. And as he does so, you watch part of his body take on this image of an individual in an almost breasted outfit with nice frillery on the shoulders, but part of it, the leg and everything, which is burned, doesn't change over. Part of the illusion on the left side where he was burned previously doesn't switch over, but the part of the cloth that covers him does. And even part of his face that is unburned takes on a human-like appearance, just like the locals in the same Asian culture. And he speaks in this with white hair, and he says, how dare you accost a guest of the Emperor?
Are you
Griffin,
some kind of changeling?
Why, what type of accusation is that? No.
Why
Griffin-
did you run?
There you go.
Sorry.
No, it's gonna go.
Why, I don't need to answer myself to you. He says, you must immediately summon the Emperor's men and whatnot. Slappy laughs when he says this.
I pick up my foot, place it against his chest, and press him back down into the ground. And tell him he's in no position to give orders.
How dare you? How dare you as one of the Emperor's own? You should never, you know better than to touch any of the Emperor's men. Which clan are you part of? And he addresses the Dragonborn.
I ignore his question and ask Arimathea, what do you want to do with this creature, this character?
The individual continues to petition against you, asking for your unit and your assignment. In the meantime, Arimathea says, I don't know, and certainly we can't release them, but if he's one of the Emperor's own, it really depends on whether or not the Emperor will allow us up there. We could take him to the Emperor, but I don't know whether or not bringing him as a hostage. You say that you believe he's the one responsible for all this? How
Absolutely.
certain are you?
All the facts point that direction.
And then upon trying to question him, he ran.
The tracks leading away from the scene of the incident and match up with what he's got here. He's being very shady, trying to disguise who he is. Very confrontational.
The scene of what incident? Are you referring to the fire? Well, of course I ran. What did you do? Expect me to be burned? Your silence, resounds in the room. Clearly you did. Arimathea.
Suicide mission.
Suicide mission.
I tell her I have no problems taking him to the Emperor restrained, not letting him go.
He says, yes, take me at once to the Emperor.
Arimathea, do you know anything about those shadowy figures running along the roofs? We've been seeing them all night, and then they attacked him and us. So.
That's why Griffin over there is lying on the ground.
Griffin is still struggling to trying to get himself to at least an upright position. Still struggling, obviously still frustrated.
Could Verdic make a medicine roll to attempt to see what's wrong with him?
What's wrong with Griffin?
Yeah.
You absolutely can make that.
Let's see if where my luck is right
Would
now.
actually, yeah, we can do that. That's fine. 15, that'll work. You realize that not only has Griffin recently suffered some damage to his back, you can tell by the curled feathers and whatnot, but there's a small bit of blood around his cheek and some oil, and as you're
touch it with your fingers, there's a slight numbness to your fingers almost immediately. And you realize there's a heavy poison that he's been struck with. What the actual effects of the poison are, you're not certain of. He appears to be moving a little bit better each moment, but clearly somebody used poison on him. And the question that Den of Wolves poses about the shadowy figures, you were posing that to Arimathea or to...
Arimathea, because she's been here a couple of times.
Yep.
Arimathea has never been here before.
They've never been to the city beneath.
I thought
This was their first time. They actually had said early on that they had always wanted to come here. That they had always wanted to do a circus in heaven. And this is their first time ever being here.
Mm.
And so she answers the question and says, no. I have no idea what you're even referring to. Though some of the others seem to have noticed them. I would like, let's see, Blaze, because you have your foot on him, I would like you to make an insight roll for us. Beautiful. You realize as they start talking about this, that the pressure beneath you, like almost like the individual, even though they're mechanical, you felt breathing, pseudo breathing. You don't know if they need to breathe or not, but movement. And when they started talking about these black shadowy figures, the individual went too still, like they were purposely trying to hold themselves still during the conversation and draw no attention to themselves. Nobody else notices this. It's only because you are touching him at the moment.
I make a recommendation that to Arimathea that he can either, loud enough for him to understand that this is more of a threat. As I slide my foot up his chest and closer to his neck, he can either divulge what information he has concerning him, not only himself and his involvement and these creatures that are after him, but or we can remove his head from his body and grant him access with the Emperor in that condition.
The individual, go ahead and make an intimidation roll for me.
They are Dragonborn is very intimidating.
As you do so, the individual starts choking and how dare you? How dare you talk to one of the Emperor's own that way? I come under peace and authority. You'll be stripped of all. You'll be sent back into the magical vast from which you come.
You came out of magic?
Verdic's gonna step over a little closer and then bend down over the man while the foot's on him. And I'm gonna go, well, if you don't want to be cooperative with them, I'm sure our little wooden friend here would be more than happy to entertain you instead.
And Slappy immediately, he says, like, the head rotates around and looks at you and it says, is that an order? And the voice changes from this laughter and the eyebrows tilt inwards and the horns actually spin on the sides of its head. And, like, it looks at you and you get this vile, like, just overwhelming anger at you, Verdic, as it asks you the simple truth. Does it have to obey this?
I am not going to reply to him. I'm just going to hold on to the puppet, and I'm going to hold it closer to the man's face so that he can see everything happening physically. So he can see the turning of the head and I'm just going to hold it there. And I'm not going to... I'm basically giving the 1,000-yard stare so I don't look at Slappy. So obviously I'm not comfortable with what's happening, but I'm gonna use it to my advantage.
The most interesting thing that you guys see is that as he does this, it tries to turn the head towards the guy, and he does it. Literally, the whole body twists around and turns because Slappy's still trying to turn his head towards him, so the body instead is spinning underneath as he does this at the guy. And literally, the arms start flopping out as he does this, and the individual on the ground who's already under Blaze's intimidation looks and it says, fine. Take me to the Emperor, then.
All right. I'll unceremoniously stand up and shove Slappy back in the satchel, and then I'll latch it down.
As you do, you open the satchel, shove him in, and you realize Slappy has cut the bottom of the satchel, and he falls right out the bottom and immediately takes off running through the room again.
Oh, God.
And laughing
I'm just
as he's now been let
under
loose.
my breath.
Starts cackling, laughter. The red light, which had gone out or started to dim, shall we say, immediately lights up again as Slappy hits the ground running. And you realize that he's the one that triggered this red light. It doesn't take long before you and Arimathea and the others are able to capture Slappy once more, leaving him in the possession of Verdic. I don't know if I know we had a description, but have you actually introduced yourself to all these others yet? Or talked about who you are?
I described them, and I didn't say much else because then the individual that was running the show accused me of being the problem. So we haven't had a chance yet. I would like to give Slappy an order, though.
What order would you like to give?
I'm ordering you to get into the bottle for now.
In a moment, like you see him pull out this glass bottle from one of his other things, uncork it, and say it to Slappy, who's still hiding on the ground. And as he does, the little imp-uppet jumps up onto the table, scurries over on all fours, stands up kind of straight, just the back a little bit hunched, looks at each of you, and it says, "I'm no puppet." And it looks at you, Verdic, and says, "But you will be soon. You can't keep me in here for long." And with that, he leaps into the air as if trying to go right at Verdic's face. And as it gets near the bottle, it kind of gets sucked down and changes shape and pops into it. And the cork goes on top of the bottle. And
Griff on the ground is just going to be... Griff on the ground and say, "Why didn't you do that earlier? Jeez."
It doesn't last long. I'm having a bad feeling that it won't last much longer.
Oh, goodness.
You need to find a pit with no bottom and launch that bottle in there.
If you know of one, I'll be happy to hear of it.
How about a bag of holding?
If you can put me in touch with one of those, I'd be all the more grateful. Unfortunately, from my understanding, the bottle's supposed to be delivered to her, and he's going to nod in Anna's general direction.
I don't want that thing.
I've been avoiding you for some time now. I felt like I owed you more than whatever this foul thing claims itself to be. Unfortunately, I've been compelled since I received it to bring it to you. I don't know the purpose of why it wants to be delivered or how that exactly happened. All I can tell you is that I've been trying to stay away and I can't do it much longer. And pretty soon, he won't be able to be contained.
Oh my. I don't know that much magic.
Well, perhaps so we can have a trade. Maybe I can help you all with your problem, and maybe you can help me with mine.
I don't know what to make of our problems, so sure.
Yeah, well, right now, I think we might need to get this thing, I guess, to the Emperor. But isn't the Emperor up in the City of Heaven?
Mm-hmm.
Arimathea says that she is, or the Emperor is, and says, but we have an invitation to go up there. We're supposed to give the show tomorrow morning, and then we would immediately go from there. The Emperor was supposed to provide transportation up. Now, we'll still have to be in contact with him about whether that's still on, considering the fire and everything. Some of his men were presumably here. We knew that from the one thing. But from what we understood, none of them were injured. Somebody had gone missing, but that's all. And supposedly everybody else was accounted for. And she looks towards the figure that is half illusion and half not and says, "You said that you are part of the Emperor's crew?" And he says, "Why, yes, I am. And it was all I could do to escape." And you all are able to put together very quickly that this is the missing individual from the Emperor's group.
Yes, but were they trying to kill you, or were you trying to prevent the circus from going to heaven? And you goofed up.
What do you mean prevent
Almost killed
anything?
yourself.
Why would I want to stop a circus from getting to heaven?
I don't know. What do you know
Why
about the
would-
black figures
Yeah.
that tried to kill you?
And me.
Yeah, and Griffin. Yeah.
And then you hear from Robin the same voice as Griffin go, "And me."
Uh-huh.
The individual, the mechanical man, if you will, responds in that same elegant voice, saying, "I don't know what you're talking about," claiming, maybe it's feigning, but claiming ignorance of what you're talking about, igniting anything. He goes, "I'm a victim." He says he knew nothing about what was going on.
So why did you hide among the circus instead of heading up towards the Emperor, and why did you run upon being talked to?
Make a persuasion roll. Let's see if you can do anything with this.
The bottom. God damn.
Okay. He tells you very clearly. He goes, "I had just been burned." He goes, "I wanted to get away from whatever was happening. You expected me to come back while burned? A gentleman would do no such thing." He goes, "That is for the likes of investigators and others to discern what had happened, to discern where the threat was. I am no combatant, but I am
There
being
was
robbed
first-
constantly. Give me my things back."
There was a first aid tent here. You could have gone to that. I did.
I reach down and I say, "Well, we hadn't robbed you of these yet." And I grab one of the arrows that's stuck in his chest and I pull it out.
As you do, you pull it out, ripping a little bit of the cloth, and you notice that part of the illusion nearby starts to cover over it, as if the arrows were actually part of the problem and whatnot.
What's his response to me pulling the arrow out?
He thanks you for it.
Would you like the other two removed?
Yes, and my rope's taken off, please. And whatever this is, and he dangles the kind of whip-like thing on him.
I'll pull the two arrows out, but I'm not taking the whip off the hands. Not until we get an audience with the Emperor and figure out what the heck's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
Verdic's going to move a little closer to him as well. Maybe he'll just stay complacent as long as our little wooden friend stays nearby.
Inside, you hear from inside the little glass jar this, where Slappy is knocking on the side of the glass trying to get out. Exactly. You can have plot points for that. Actually, you guys are all going to get some plot points. I got to give that in a moment. Do you have anything else? What are your plans for the rest of this evening? You haven't taken a long rest or anything. It clearly seems that Arimathea's plan is to have the circus. And yeah, if you guys want to rest it all, you're going to need to do it now before the circus begins. Arimathea's plan is very clear. Do the circus, get in touch with the Emperor, and try to get up there. Do you guys want to do that? Be a part of that or not?
Does she have a holding spot for this guy?
She looks and she says, "We can leave him tied up here. None of the circus hands will molest him if he's in here."
Oof.
Don't they have animal wagons or something like that with bars?
We do, but circus hands could easily get to those. This place, as you can tell by the screening, has certain protections of a magical nature involved.
We could use the center stake, tie him down that way. We've had to do that during campaigns in the past.
What do you guys all think?
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It'll work.
The magical
For now.
protection stuff, this might be the best place for him.
Okay. Next thing you know, you guys are working, tying him to the center and whatnot. I'm going to assume that one of you has some rope and whatnot you can use. If not, Anna can get some easily with the circus. And you leave him all tied up and whatnot. He complains a little bit that this is absolutely no way to treat royalty and whatnot, and that it's completely uncalled for.
This is as much for your protection as it is for our own.
Also, Sean, is Griff still somewhat paralyzed at this moment?
And I think enough time has passed that you can be moving around fair. Well, it's up to you. It's role playing.
Cool. Well, Griff is actually gonna constantly be like cracking his limbs a little bit, spreading his wings a little bit more, and you could hear like a little, you know, just trying to loosen up again. But he's also going to mention before things start kicking off. Before I was so rudely interrupted by, you know, a spear or something through my chest. Fellow peoples, we've got orders, by the way. I forgot to mention that.
Oh.
Thank you! I was like sitting here waiting. I'm like, cool.
Oh, okay. So I guess we should
check our little stone
on
things.
that.
You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, I went back to the ship to find Robin, and then I was told that pretty much our stones, we should probably do something with those things now. Or something. Yeah. So.
What should... Do you know
Yeah, we
what
might
that
want to
is?
check on that before we decide to stay with the circus, maybe.
Yeah, perhaps. That was actually kind of the whole goal why I came back here. Of course, that went weird and almost died.
You know, I was more than happy with the 232 plot points that you know.
Hey, stop yourself.
So
If
you
Verdic
should
has a
go
moment
back
to
to
mention,
our
he would probably want to look over at Griffin and inform him of what he discovered regarding the poison.
Oh, well, that kind of explains why I was so incapacitated before. So I guess you're not completely useless. Nice to meet you, by the way.
Verdic, and he's going to offer his hand and say, it's safe to assume that whoever they were probably has more of that poison at their disposal, and we should probably be concerned with finding a way to either neutralize it or prepare for it for next time.
Correct.
How about not
I
get
like him.
shot?
That too. You know, just saying we should probably not just jump into things. I'm just saying that from personal experience. Just don't, you know, just saying. But
This is
That
your
too.
third time doing it.
hey, listen. I know, okay, but we should probably just keep our eyes to the skies a little bit more. You know, the rooftops. Yep.
Maybe you
Watch
should
out
stop
for
flying
those-
so high by yourself.
It was a heat of battle, okay, and you know I'm just more of an action person kind of thing. Clearly, I mean, had I not done that, we probably would have known, and somebody could have actually died. So I kind of just saying took a bullet.
Yeah.
You're
Were we
welcome.
informed how to use the stones? I remember being informed what they were, but I don't know if we were told how to use them.
To your understanding, they are just messenger stones that you would get a message on, is what you were told. Griffin was given some specific instructions, though. I don't know if the player remembers. If not, I can help you out.
If you could, please, Sean.
Yeah,
I'm
you were
sorry.
told that you need to all get together and touch your stones together.
Touch them. Okay.
Yeah.
I then convey that. We should all probably just touch stones now, by the way.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's time for a good intimate moment.
Yeah.
So everybody go down and reach for your stones and pull them out. Please.
You
Oh my
realize
goodness,
these
Griffin.
roughly
Verdic's just gonna
triangular.
stare at them. One eyebrow cocked.
Right?
They pull out these roughly triangular smooth stones with a sigil on each one, and as they hold them together into this square pattern, there's a light that forms between them, and suddenly your minds are all linked, and you hear a fifth voice inside your head. And inside your head it says, "Misfits, are you ready?"
I guess.
Maybe?
You're on a mission, should you choose to accept it.
He says, "You have no choice in the matter." But he goes, "I do have a mission for you. Congratulations on what you did previously. I'm now told that you're known as the Magnificent Misfits. I think I'll just stick with Misfits for right now. Let's see about the Magnificent in the days to come." He goes, "There's something very important that I've just learned. The port where you're at is underneath the Emperor's palace, the Imperial City." He says, "I have reason to suspect that there is undue buildup of armament
there that we are unfamiliar with. I need you to get up there, and I've already devised a way. I've learned that a circus ship has docked there, and they are to be up in the Imperial City. They have come for a royal assignment. You need to infiltrate the circus and get up to the Imperial City. Discover what this is, these rumors about an armament buildup. There is some strategic force. We know in the past that they have trained some of the most magnificent troops ever that fought at the end of the war. These samurai answer only to the Emperor. We need you to find out what he has staged next. One of your avenues of escape will be the airship that we know for a fact he has already built. Unlike the smaller things that can take you from the city in shadow where you are now up to the top, these airships are capable of going all over like any of the magnificent airships that fly over Corvair. If you can steal one of those, all the better. But you would probably need an artificer or a wizard to do it. If not, you'll have to find your own way out. But we need this information on what he is planning and what he is building.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. We might not be able to get into the circus.
Yeah, we might not be that magnificent.
We definitely aren't that magnificent.
Well, he goes, I'll tell you, Captain Mars definitely thought you were. He said something about the Magnificent Misfits. He goes, and I understand that your poor associate, Robin, was damaged and whatnot. He goes, I really strongly suggest that, you get rid of him. He goes, if he can't keep up with all of you.
Agreed completely.
Excuse me.
Robin.
But he is my ward of some sorts, of course. Like all soldiers need to be trained,
Griffin,
right?
you forgot your training. It's just yes, sir.
Oh no! That's bullocks. Bullocks.
I really wish it wouldn't be that. I pull.
We will bring Robin until he can't go anymore.
Oh my God.
Can I assume?
Unless, of course, he says no. Maybe.
Now, when you guys are all responding, are you talking out loud or mentally only, or is there sometimes one way or another?
Mental.
Griffin can't tell the difference, so he's probably speaking out loud as well.
I love it because sometimes he's mental, then like that when he's defending Robin and Robin's head turns slightly to the side hearing this. Of course we're bringing Robin along and whatnot. Blaze, what are you doing during this?
I'm just listening. I know there's too many ears around, so I'm not saying anything vocal.
Okay. Verdic, in the meantime, is just watching you all with this glowing stone. Do you understand your orders?
Roger.
Aye, sir.
Affirmative.
Kraken.
Let me know when it's complete.
Will do.
And with that, the light goes out,
Did that?
and you separate the stones, and you now have your orders.
Griff turns around to Verdic and says, "You, what kind of skills do you have?"
Oh, you're muted, buddy.
Yep. I was trying to do that so I didn't get too loud. I trained under Anna long ago. So I do have some skills of a ranger, but then I became a paladin. And I'm a master of the polearm, as well as a sentinel guard.
Interesting. Okay. So Anna, you vouch for this one.
Yeah, I think he could be useful.
Wonderful.
At
Let's
least
fill
your
him
word
in.
means way more than Griffin's.
Okay, hold on. Hold your horses, kitty cat.
He's going to be much more useful than Robin, yes.
Perhaps maybe bringing Robin isn't the best idea. He can't, technically he can't train if he's dead, right? So
Robin might like to learn some acrobatics here in the circus.
Actually, Anna, that's not a bad idea.
Dumped him off.
Fantastic. It'll be kind of like a babysitter for a little bit. Okay, cool. I'll definitely talk to Arimathea about the whole acrobatics and Robin thing. Perhaps maybe the time we come back, he can fly.
You never know.
Blaze happens to notice up on the ledge of the wagon this little furry critter, and he kind of reaches up and scratches the back of its neck and listens to it purr and says, "So is this another one of your little followers there, Verdic, or is this belong to you, Arimathea?"
And what he's petting is this mangy-looking, I guess you could call it a cat if the thing was fed more or taken care of. But he just looks like this. He's long and thin and half-starved looking thing.
Missing an ear.
I don't know about that. I mean, that's... Brock, is it missing an ear?
It kind of looks like it's kind of tufted over like it had been in a fight and it's kind of matted down.
I like it. I like it. And it just starts purring, and as he does, it like comes down on his arm and starts rubbing up and down against his maw as if trying to put either the dragon's scent on him or his scent on this dragonborn. Arimathea, who was not present for your conversation, she had gone off to take care of all the other things. The only people present were, well, Slappy's in a bottle, but this individual that's standing there tied up to the center post while the four of you talked, but only a couple of you talked out loud anyway, so no big deal. Verdic and them. Arimathea is off making all the preparations, so Verdic, the question is to you, if it's one of yours.
It is not, but it's awful strange. Could I use animal handling on it to see
if you want to try and get it away from the Dragonborn? Sure.
I mean, does the Dragonborn look terribly uncomfortable about the situation? Am I getting in his personal space?
Well, I do want to point this out. You have never seen a Dragonborn before.
Which is all the more reason why I'm not sure if I'm getting in his personal space.
I'd stay away if I were you.
I'm going to look at the Dragonborn and go, is the creature bothering you?
I say, no, not particularly. And after he said it wasn't one of his, I kind of look and notice a little tag around its neck and look at the tag, and it looks like its name is Reflay. Or maybe Rifle.
Replay.
I like Replay better.
And as he says this, the little kitten paws start attacking his head as he's like trying to mess with this old collar, which is dingy and stained and like almost half burned on it and whatnot. It's just like char covered. This cat's been through hell and back, obviously.
Right.
Since we seem to just be picking up more and more accents, I'm just gonna go to bed before things get weirder.
Where are we allowed to go to bed? I think I need a little rest myself.
Well, you do have a ship
time
that you can go back to, or you can use some of the common quarters here that they have for individuals. Verdic, you don't have anywhere that you know that you were staying since you've left the ship.
Not really sure much about the town myself. I just got here.
What do you want to do?
I'm thinking it'd be easier if we stayed with the circus just to make sure we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got a show early in the morning. Get a little bit of shut-eye. I believe there was a spare cot there if you need a place to crash there, Verdic.
Yeah.
And Verdic, one of the things that you're realizing is, again, you saw all these individuals in the show last night. Or was it earlier today, I guess? Earlier today.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so literally every single one of these individuals were part of that massive climax that burned the place almost to the ground.
Wasn't our fault.
And Blaze, I'm assuming you got your whip off of him since he's tied up with ropes now, the mechanical
We
man.
switched him up with ropes, and I've got the whip back on my hip.
Okay. You're provided, you guys all get the benefits of a long rest as you are able to do that overnight. Verdic, we're going to let you camp out with them. They get some permission and whatnot. Arimathea does any interim negotiations that need to be done with her people to get you guys a safe place to rest. In the morning, the setup for the circus goes well and smoothly. You're all provided food for the day and whatnot. Slappy is no longer in the bottle at all. You're not even sure where he's at. Russ, when Verdic wakes up?
I would probably alert them all to the fact that he's missing.
Well, when Blaze wakes up, he remembers that he had set the cat back up on that ledge before they walked off. But when he wakes up and sits up, he sees something nestled up between his feet.
And there it is. This little Reflay has gone and curled up with the Dragonborn and slept with him all night long. One of the most interesting things.
You have a new friend.
For any of you that were watching, Reflay likes to sit there and get up on the Dragonborn's chest while he's sleeping and kind of like knead into him. Of course, the Dragonborn is not that flexible as he just kind of like scrapes across the scales of the Dragonborn, and just tends to curl up with him and all the time. Reflay now starts following you. Why don't you make an animal handling check? As you do so, you realize with your animal handling that he's a little put off because you haven't fed him. He's like nuzzled you, stayed with you, and now you guys are all eating breakfast and whatnot because, like I said, she's providing everything, and the cat's hungry.
Obviously, the rest of us are eating, so we're going to have some scraps around, so I'll toss to the cat.
Wonderful.
Shortly after breakfast, I'm going to find a little tub of water somewhere and try to clean this thing up because it's nasty looking.
He's gonna bathe the cat.
Oh man,
that's a mini adventure in itself, and we could do a one shot on it. But by the time we're done, we're just gonna skip to the end of that.
Digitate it,
Did you want to help, Anna?
When I see him trying to bathe the cat, yes, I go over and be like, "Hey, God," and yes, I do some prestidigitation and clean it up for him.
So between the half-soaked, half-prestidigitated cat, it comes out looking actually really good. The fur quite a bit softer and whatnot. He could tell where the one ear is now cauliflowered over and whatnot, probably forever and whatnot. Just a war wound to who the cat is. But it definitely seems much more friendly towards the Dragonborn, ironically, than even the half-elf ranger. The cat seems enthralled. Hey, Wolves Dad, good to see you tonight.
Dad.
Just happened to look over and see you over there in the chat. Whatnot? Nail sharpening on the scales. Exactly. Got to keep them worked down. So the cat is fed. When it comes time for the circus itself, this circus, the beginning, once again, the fanfare, the music starts going off without a hitch. It's great.
Our part's going to be excellent.
And then it comes time for the final bit of the circus, the show, which begins with, Blaze. I'm sorry, it starts at the top, doesn't it? It starts with Den of Wolves and Anna. The Magnificent Misfits start going up at the top. What does that look like?
Yeah, probably same as last time. I'm gonna do a handstand at the edge and wait for the time to do a little flip off and land on the platforms to start the acrobatics.
Yep, go up and do our whole trapeze part and hitting all the magical birds that go poof and make pretty kind of fireworks and all that good stuff.
Not blow anything up. It's a big part of our show.
They have done a great job. The roundabouts have been working through the night while you were resting to get this place, and only a discerning eye would notice where there's the burn things. Like that one section where the fire really hit is closed off. It's cleaned up, but it's closed off. They haven't had a chance to replace all the different things yet. But you go off shattering these little bits which fall to the ground, and Blaze is down below ready to put out all the fires that he sees falling from the sky. Blaze, go ahead and make a couple quick rolls for us if you would like. And these will be attack rolls to try and hit each one.
Okay. First of all, I just want to say that we weren't relying on the circus folk to do their standard security. We did our own sweep prior to make sure there were no additional barrels. And
I would like you to make a group investigation roll, and since you've included Verdic in this, he will be part of it. So again, 3 out of 5. Investigation.
Investigation.
Ooh, 2 high ones. Love it. 2 low ones. I see 2 high, 2 low. Who am I missing?
Anna's the top one.
Oh, that's why she's off the screen. So 3 highs. Wonderful. You have every confidence that they're only barrels of water, that nothing seems amiss. Right down to the magical candles, which are supposed to light fires. Yeah, candles do that. We figured that out last time too. Everything seems good to go. So you know that these not only illusionary fires, but some of the little bits falling down should all be normal as you start to make your attack rolls.
Your daughter loves you, DM.
My daughter? Whoa, she geek logged in? Wow. Oh, and then hit me with disadvantage. Yeah, right.
Nice.
Loves me.
All right, how many rolls do you want me to throw?
Well, I would have said 2, but now I'm going to give you 3 because, you know, Arya is the shit geek.
Oh, sorry, I hit the wrong thing there. My bad.
It's been my excuse the whole time, too.
Let's try that one.
Cursed Whip. Okay. Wow. Snap, snap. You like, boom, boom. You're like cracking these things off, hitting them down. The crowd is going wild. They love it. Everything that's going on from the show down below is really catching them, and they're just falling in love with all this. And then the final one, the candle that's really close to the edge comes, and in an almost copy of the night before, the whip comes out and slaps this gnome across the face, who goes rolling and stands up and literally shouts and goes, "Again?" The crowd thinks it's actually part of the show as they see this happen, and you know, it's a comical moment. But he's got the candle still lit on top of his head, and he's holding it with 2 hands.
All right, we got to throw another one?
Yep, roll it again, buddy.
Here we go.
Hey.
There we go.
And he does it. He hits this whip cracking this time. And the beautiful thing is as he hits this, the whip takes the candle, sends it flying through the air towards Griffin, who's been somersaulting and running around and producing all these things of steam. Griffin, I would like you to make 2 or 3 rolls. And let's see how you've been doing.
And
I'd like you to make 2 acrobatics and 1 attack roll.
All right. 2.
Griffin's been flying around above all the people, getting close to them, making it seem like he is this person. But of course, he is known as the Flaming Phoenix. But he's not on fire yet. Instead, he's using his fire and casting it into water.
Right.
As he does so, poof, poof, steam comes up into the air. He rolls through it and all that, casting his fire, rolling around, seeming to stumble at the last moment. He goes towards the final barrel, and as he shoots off his thing, it goes down, hits the water, and there's a huge explosion of steam that comes out. And as he soars up, somewhat surprised, floating in the air, suddenly this candle hits his back and he bursts into flames. What will you do?
At that very moment, when he bursts into flames, he's gonna do a display of like just go up into the air and spread wings, and kind of send like little embers like going in like a good distance, and then dive down and then take a nice stroll around the whole tent.
He does this, goes up, and as you do this, flying over all the people, there's oohs and ahs, there's applause galore as they love everything that's happening. They're like so impressed with what you're doing. They're just going in awe of it all. This has been the final climax and whatnot. Everything has gone off well till you hear the shouts and the gasps, and something has gone wrong. And too quickly, you realize exactly what it is. Slappy has started wreaking havoc underneath some of the people, frightening them. And what's worse, Slappy is being chased by this orange, raggedy, cleaned up cat. And suddenly there's a flame again in the tent. You don't know what's happened, whether Slappy has started a fire or something else, but there's a fire and somebody's screaming and they're running out of the tent. Again, this fire is much smaller, unlike the explosion that happened previously.
Put the fire out!
Since Verdic's not on the stage, could I be closer and race to the tent?
Great. Put
You
the
can
fire out.
you can be part of the audience right there. What do you want to do?
I want to race to the tent.
Well, all right, you're inside. It's a big top tent, so
Well, I mean, I want to race to the source of the... Do I see the source of the flame? Is that...
you most certainly do. It is.
Okay.
You're in a big top tent. If you take a look at the Twitch screen real quick, you'll notice that these guys were all flying around the middle, and the fire has started right here on the southern edge. Where the previous fire was up here, and that section is closed off.
Okay, I'm going to run to the southern edge then where the fire started.
Okay, you head down here to the southern edge and whatnot, and you can see this fire underneath, and you can see Slappy laughing, and he's dancing underneath the bleacher, swinging from thing to thing, as the cat tries to jump and get at him and whatnot, and the fire is nearby and is growing. Again, it's probably about 5 to 10 square feet now, but it's not a huge bonfire. It's just slowly trying to catch at the wood and whatnot. No clear ignition source.
Can I get over to it, just take my cloak and try to smother it out, or is it too big for that now?
Seems like it's probably too big for that. Do you have some magic?
Nothing that'll dispel a fire.
Griffin.
Griff would like to assist in that. If he could see Verdic where near the fire, can I be able to see that right now?
It's easy enough to spot because the people have cleared out from the fire, making it obvious where it is beneath the bleachers down there in that area. So all of you have a general eye on where it is. Blaze, you're probably about 15 feet off here, right in the bottom and whatnot. Den of Wolves, you're dancing over here on the right one.
Barrels of water.
Griff would like would like to go to one of his barrels of water and water shape, if he could, to put that fire out. If there's a distance between.
Moments later, the fire is extinguished. The puppets laughing and now running on top of the bleachers as well and whatnot, running along, being chased by this cat. They run out into the middle. The crowd in the rest of the stands is confused on whether this is part of the show because nobody's really been injured yet, or whether it's actually not. What do you want to do?
Can I attempt to use performance and try to make it look like I'm gonna actually try to catch Slappy, but I want to put off like this air of like it's not serious,
like a clown.
Sure.
Yep, I'm gonna try to perform a little bit because I know in the back of my head this could get really panicky really quick. So I'm just trying to control the crowd and go after him at the same time. So I'll roll the performance or persuade. Yeah, we'll do performance here. It's not great, but we'll try it.
Not great? Are you kidding me? You grab people. He captures Slappy, sends Slappy like a juggler through the air and catches him again. All part of the show as he stuffs Slappy into the double sack that he's got at his side now. You know, the repaired one from yesterday, sewed closed again, and another one shoved inside it and whatnot. Unless you want to try and put him in the bottle as part of your act.
No, I'm just going to leave him in the satchel, but I'm going to kind of hold it. We'll bring it up like this with my arm underneath. I'm anticipating this is going to be painful, but I'm going to do it anyway. And then I'm going to rush back to the stage to regroup with the rest of the group.
Okay.
And in a loud, booming voice, Indiana Blaze goes, "Ta-da!"
Oh, I love it! I love it.
Yes.
You know, somewhere I actually have a tada. I wish I had that handy. I have a Santra boat handy, which is definitely not it. I'm like, oh, where's my tada? Ah, don't have it now. But as you do, you guys grab them all in. One of the last things that happens is Rifle jumps up at the sack, trying to grab onto that sack and rip its way through it. And Blaze does the ta-da, and the crowd goes wild with excitement. The circus ends on a positive note. At the end of it, after all the individuals have left and you've done all your bows and you're come down from the tops, everybody has had a really good time. Arimathea thanks each of you and tells you that she's been in conversation with the Emperor and that they're immediately going to be taking everything up. Literally, as fast as it ends and people are leaving, roundabouts are already breaking it down. This is what they're built to do, to set up and pack up quickly. and they take their job seriously as they start doing this very thing. It's a few hours later when the circus is packed up and you see these floating small sky ships come down, ready to take the circus up into Havin, which is the city above, the imperial city. You have been invited to be a part of it. Specifically, Blaze, Arimathea asked that you and your team would stay close. Why she's targeted you is unclear, but she seems to think that it's your team, perhaps because you're the one that captured the mechanical man and whatnot.
Before we move on to our next thing, I find that gnome that struck a couple times, and I give him, toss him a couple gold pieces for his troubles.
He seems incredibly grateful and tells you it is unnecessary, if that's what you would like. Because he's willing to accept it, but he says it's absolutely not something that he feels that you have to do.
No, absolutely, I do it. I say for your troubles.
Arimathea, who has you on your own at one point, reminds you of something. She says, "This is a paid gig. You need to go and get yours." Russ, you're not being paid. Verdic was not ever contracted with the circus and whatnot. But she is more than willing to take the four of you up to Havin. So you can go over to the quartermaster, or sorry, not quartermaster, but the pay tent where she directs you to, and you can get paid there if you would like.
Okay.
Let's get paid.
Let's get that money.
Okay.
Each of you try and find a way to get Verdic up there with us.
Gonna have to do some negotiating.
That's the problem. I'm as much as a liability as I am anything else.
I think that's on you, Anna, because I don't see a reason to bring him.
Verdic's gonna lean over to Anna and be like, "I know now is not the time or the place, and we haven't had the time to catch up. But if someone doesn't help me with this problem, he could very well soon be everyone's problem, and that includes the Emperor's."
I kind of noticed. That's why I'm thinking we need to get you up there with us. Maybe the Emperor has some magicians that can figure it out.
I'm gonna nod.
Well, we'll bring him with us. We'll even help him out with a little bit of payment, depending on how much we get.
I'll be sure to carry my own weight. I appreciate the offer.
Each of you receives a small fortune for the 2 days' work for the investigation and whatnot. You are gifted 50 gold apiece for just working in the show at 2 acts, 25 gold apiece and whatnot. Yeah, and she takes you up. Now, of course, the question becomes, how are you negotiating for Verdic to get up there? Are you just asking for Arimathea's goodwill?
I think.
Is she not moved by the possibility that this little puppet could be a permanent part of her act?
Do you want to offer her that?
I was going to say that not just the puppet possibly being part of the act, but the fact that hearing the rumors that we've heard, the Emperor might have a solution to the puppet problem.
It could be a danger to the circus and everyone else in the area if we don't figure out a way to contain him.
I just explained to her, we're more than happy to go up and meet the Emperor and get all this resolved. We're also, and I just tell her, we're also dealing with some issues with the newest individual to the group. So we're going to need him to come along with us so we can work on our issues while we're solving the other issues as well.
Valuable asset.
I could also offer medicinal skills to the circus while they're performing. First aid, triage. I'm sure they all have injuries, old and new, when they perform.
For what in return? Just transportation up there and back?
Yep.
Okay. Part of the contract that she makes you sign does say up there and back, so that you're not just being dropped off up there and whatnot, that you will, for all intents and purposes, be part of the circus. And she has you all... She would like you to come along and be part of the circus up there as well, doing the same headline show if you're willing. Do you want to change anything in your contract?
I think ours is okay for now. What do you guys think?
The only thing that Griff is going to do and is not like included into the contract, but mention. Also, I wanted to actually see if you would just maybe train my little associate that I have. His name is Robin. Trying to teach him how to fly, but it doesn't seem like it's going very well. So maybe our acrobats can actually do something with him for the time being.
Arimathea tells you something that you've already found out the hard way, which is Kenku can't fly. But she does say, you know what? You have something there. The amazing flying Kenku. That's a headline we could sell. She goes, so she is more than willing to do that. She does tell you it's not something we can train overnight, but, we'll see. So in the meantime, she'll start. Robin, at first is upset that you're seeming to send him off, but then realizing it's part of his flight training, he gets excited by it and is excited that his master has given him this opportunity. She also tells Blaze, that cat that seems to be following you around, watch out, he's not necessarily a lucky cat. She goes, don't know why he's taking a liking to you. He doesn't seem to like most of the people around here. He'll steal food left and right, and there's really no getting rid of him. She goes, but...
Oh.
As I found out, I left him at your wagon last night, and he ended up in the tent with me this morning.
She goes, well... She goes, no offense, but I'll be good to see him gone. She goes, we've tried to capture him a few times, and it's never worked out well. We finally stopped trying to capture him and just said, we try to shoo him away whenever he comes around.
Maybe he'll stay in heaven.
He did a pretty good job of tracking down the wooden nuisance.
She goes, I was actually incredibly surprised. She goes, because he hangs out a lot near my tent, and I don't allow him in and whatnot because of him being so unlucky, she explains. She goes, so I'm really grateful that, you're going to be taking that problem off my hands. I consider that a bonus. It takes the better part of the day for the circus to be elevated on all these flying transports. You see more magic that day, small platforms, small boats, other things that come down from heaven and elevate all the circus and its workers up into this clouds. You're brought up through it, and there you get your first glimpse of what Griffin saw on that first day. A walled square city. Yeah. I love it. Wonderful. You just brought up a really good point, tabletop. I've really got to set up my moods. I haven't done that yet for the... Come on. Oh, that's why. I'm in the wrong section. Come on, papers, get out of my way. You guys get all the way up to the top. I'm trying to do Sirenscape at the same time, and I'm distracting myself. I apologize about that. Come on. Pop up already. Well, it's fighting me now, and I'm not going to mess with it. Why are you fighting me? See, this is the problem. I get that singular focus. So there's no sound for the moment. You get up there to the walled city and whatnot. The circus is not just magic in itself, as you've noticed, it's illusion. But here, there's magic everywhere. Never mind that it's a magical city floating in the sky above, casting shadow over everything. But you're taken through these walled gates. You see birds up above flying in the air. There's motifs of dragons everywhere. In the center of a massive courtyard, large enough for the big top tent to be set up, some of the smaller creature wagons have been brought up too to cram into the space. That this massive circus that would have hundreds of people flowing would be condensed into a courtyard setting. Possibly for, rather than hundreds and hundreds or 1,000 people, maybe for just 100. Within this setting, they have cast down magically dirt over everywhere so that the stakes can be put in to the flagstones without damaging them. The circus workers are setting all this up. She tells you that tomorrow morning, the circus will be put on. Overnight, we've been told to stay here where we are, to not leave this courtyard setting, so that tomorrow, shortly after sunrise, the circus will perform for the emperor, and then we'll pull out. only select shows will be performing, which includes one of yours. That night, after everything is set up, and even you guys have lent a hand and whatnot, and there have been plenty for the Paladin to do with his medicinal checks, you have an opportunity. What do you want to do with this downtime?
We're not able to gain an audience with the Emperor up front. I mean, we've still got one of his royals tied up.
Do you? Has anybody thought to check on that? You do. Upon checking. He failed both his rolls. I meant to roll earlier and surprise you with that he had escaped, but he actually failed both his rolls, so he did not escape. So you do have one of his own tied up. But upon checking upon him, you also realize something else. He looks completely like the person that his illusion was trying to be.
Interesting. Okay. Griffin, this downtime, now that he's gotten paid a nice chunk.
Oh, no.
This is the kind of first time Griff has ever had this kind of money before. So he's really stuck between booze or something more useful. And he thinks that after like the first show, where having booze during the show probably wasn't the best idea, he's gonna lay off for a sec, unless it's given to him or presented to him. Of course he's gonna accept it then. But he would like to go and find maybe some sort of armor that he can wear to maybe brighten up his aesthetic and maybe protect him a little bit better, so that way he doesn't get any holes in his chest anymore.
Not sure how far we can roam though.
You are limited to the courtyard at the moment, unless you guys want to make a special request to be able to walk out amongst the noble homes here.
Are there any kind of like vendors set up in the courtyard? Non-circus vendors?
Nope. It's literally just the circus here. Obviously for security precautions. One of the most interesting things, though, I want Den of Wolves and Blaze to each make a person. Oh, and Verdic. Verdic would make this roll, being his sentinel. Perception.
Persuasion?
Perception.
But you tell me a ranger wouldn't know this stuff?
There's something specific that they're noticing.
Hopefully.
Some decent rolls.
Well, Blaze has a different DC for a different reason, and that is that each of you at different times have noticed that there doesn't appear to be. There are many humans about, many of the race and whatnot, helping, answering questions, doing different things, but you're not seeing guards per se. The guards that you do see up on the wall are all at a distance and appear to be hunched over, larger and whatnot. And you, Griffin, you already know why, and you, Blaze, realize why. Their shape is that they're Dragonborn, but you're seeing them at such a distance. Verdic is not able to make out that they're Dragonborn. They just appear to be heavily armored individuals from a distance. Something, whether they're wearing a cloak over their face. The shape isn't quite right, but different people fight wars in masks, and it's very ceremonial here, so you're just not sure. You haven't been able to make it out. But Griffin already knew what this was and is just confirming. And Blaze, you have only seen this many Dragonborn when you were with your people. So,
Den of Wolves?
Den of Wolves did 19.
I assume it's the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Den of Wolves, you absolutely, again, are figuring this out. Similar to Verdic, that something seems odd about these individuals. So, thank you for that. Anything else that you want to do for the night? Other than try to get out, do you want to request permission to go out into the town?
Either to go out to the town or to fly back down below, where there might be something down there, if I could.
You could, do you want to just sail up from here? In the middle of the courtyard?
Burning a hole in his pocket.
It is. I mean, if I know for a fact that I'll be able to get back in, if I were to fly back down,
the sky is open.
Shot at?
Well, I mean, I just want to make sure I'm not getting shot again or nothing like that.
Do you want to ask that question of anybody?
Yes,
or?
yes.
Oh, okay.
I would love to, yes.
The answer is that you're here as the Emperor's guest and expected to stay where you are.
Okay.
You're grounded.
Put it in your bank. Save it for later.
Now Griffin's just disgruntled about the fact that he can't fly anywhere.
Now,
I want to explore the courtyard. Since we're in this cool city of heaven.
Verdic would like to accompany Anna exploring the courtyard.
you two are accompanying together doing things, and you're used to with your ranger training looking for certain things. Both of you make investigation rolls with disadvantage.
Oh, I already have I'm already myself.
Investigation. 1, 2.
11?
So, yeah.
And Verdic roll again because it's with disadvantage.
I'd like to use my inspiration that I have as well.
Okay. Then it balances out, so
go.
it just stays at the 14. And I will knock off your inspiration for the moment. Well done. As you do with the 14 and the 11, together you both notice that you're being kept away from certain areas, but you've also caught that there's a section of the wall that appears to be a secret exit. The only reason you've noticed this is both of you who are used to watching for guard patterns and whatnot, notice that these civilian types seem to, almost in order, like the same three will rotate in, go do something else, and always walk by this as if they're guards in disguise, making sure that nobody goes near this area. Which leads you both to believe there's a passageway or something over there in this totally plain wall. Otherwise, you wouldn't have people patrolling it.
You think this is for the Royals' protection, or is this all for our benefit?
Well, my question is, can we get... How close can we get to that area?
You can get within about 30 feet unless you're going to encounter one of the people who always seems to suddenly need something back in that direction and are passing by, and then they greet you and say hello and things like that. Ask you if there's anything that they can do for you. Being totally subservient, how can I help you?
I was honestly just gonna, go lean up against the wall. I needed to rest a little bit, but,
It'd be fantastic as our group is slightly famished. Is there any way we could get any small food or drink?
Persuasion roll, please.
Ooh. I'm going to use my channel divinity as emissary of peace and get a +5 on that.
Ooh, very nice. 16. Beautiful. As you do this, is that your final number? You can use plot points to adjust it. I know you're new to the table.
I want
here.
to use plot points to do that.
Okay. And what do you want to adjust it to?
I want it to be at least an 18.
So 2 plot points into that. Okay. So 16 becomes an 18. And as you do, the person seems visibly agitated, as if caught between the fact that they are told to serve you, but not wanting to really go away. And eventually they do scamper off much quicker, as if the quicker I can get this done, the quicker I can get back and maybe bring others. Together, you two are now next to the wall. And
yes,
Slappy,
I want to touch it and detect magic.
as you detect magic, you find that the entire place radiates magic. So you start to notice that something is stronger, and that is that you can hear now the banging on the jug and whatnot, and then the banging stops as you finish your spell, detect magic. Slappy runs in front of you. Ha! And he goes, "Now you're the puppet!" And he says this right to Verdic. And Verdic, you start to feel a little light on your feet. I need you to make a saving throw, please, Verdic. We don't do... this will be a wisdom save.
Okay.
All he needed was a wizard to cast Detect Magic.
Yikes.
And you start to feel much lighter on your feet, Verdic. The jar that once held Slappy, the cork is off of it, and it floats up out of your pack in front of you. And you start to, it's not in your hands at all, it's floating in the middle of the air, and you start to lose your stepping on your foot.
and you're feeling
You
later.
cast protection from good and evil on him.
You're going to cast another spell. You already activated this whole thing.
Yes,
Is that it?
but
One
I want
action?
to try and save him. Yes, it says one action.
You cast protection from good and evil on him. And as you do, you become heavy again, Russ. Literally, Verdic hits the ground with a thump. And the bottle, which you were like getting pulled up and towards, tips. And as it does, the same spell that activated this thing in the first place makes Anna feel suddenly light. And Slappy, you hear yell, "No! No! He's the puppet now!" And all of a sudden, you get sucked into the bottle, like the same as Slappy was. And Slappy starts flipping out. Anna is inside the bottle. And Slappy... Go ahead, buddy. What do you got, Russ?
I'm going to pull out the pin as a bonus action and have it activate into the pole arm. And I'm going to use Divine Smite, and I'm using it against Slappy.
Oh, man.
Wow. With that, make your roll, buddy. Make it. Do it. Let's see that attack roll.
Let's see here. It's going to be... I'm getting used to this whole thing still. Actions. Yes. Two-hand. Yes. Yoink.
Literally, you yell out with a Divine Smite. Oh, is that your final roll? I always should ask the question. I mean, I'm assuming
I should have asked that. Actually, that's the wrong roll.
Oh, that's damage, yeah. Okay,
damage
yeah.
roll.
Yeah.
The wrong roll.
I'm so glad we asked before I narrated this ending.
Mike caught that one, yeah.
Yeah, I just
We'll
need to
throw
roll
out
the
some
I was like,
d20.
wow,
right?
that sucks. And
Yeah.
I looked over. And
It's like, damn.
And it's d20. It's just a dexterity, or is it strength? It's strength, right?
For a
Yeah,
pole
but-
arm, yeah, I believe it's strength based because it's a melee weapon.
Yeah.
A few of them, finesse weapons, have the ability to use dex, but that's definitely not.
There we go.
So 13. So same question. Final number is a 13.
I'm going to adjust it with plot points and make it a 20.
All right, dirty 20
There you
attack. Woo!
Dirty 20 it is. Wow. Verdic, you call down this divine smite from above, and as you do, everyone, wherever you are, again, this was getting nighttime. You were getting prepared for the day tomorrow. There's this crack of thunder throughout the entire place. And as you do this, glaive comes down on top of Slappy. The blade going to cut right into this wooden dummy. Hits him. Cuts him to the side. And as he does, Slappy, in two pieces, each piece slowly turns into particles and drifts up into the air. The glaive down, cutting in to the top of the terracotta. And as it hits, this crack of thunder releases across everywhere. Every single person in the circus wakes up to this huge boom of thunder, and every person in the palace as well, as the magical alarms go off that an attack has been made inside the Emperor's palace by somebody in the circus. And that's where we'll end it for tonight. For all of you that have been watching, I want to thank you. Anna Valerious, her character will be quote-unquote retired for the moment. She's stuck inside a bottle at the moment. And we will be seeing more of Russ on our weekly game here on Sunday nights. Anna will return about once a month. So we'll look forward to seeing that and whatnot.
Well, thanks for another great night. Excellent role-playing, guys. Enjoyed the newcomer tonight. Welcome aboard. Thanks, everyone, for watching, and look forward to doing this again next week, and hope you all return and watch us again.
Like Blaze over there said, thanks, everyone, for coming out. I'm always excited seeing you guys in the chat and seeing you guys interact with your points to mess up the DM specifically. If you guys want, check out my Twitch at OreoXWolf and Twitter as well, where I'll be posting whenever I go live.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, guys, again, thank you for joining us for another session. And thank you, Kat, for all that wonderful roleplay you've been giving us so far. I'm really gonna miss you, and hopefully you're back soon. You know, we'd love to have you back again. But otherwise, also welcome to our new friend Russ. I want to say it's been so far. This session was pretty fun and really great to know your character. So
I just want to thank everybody for having me on, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where things go. And Anna, we'll get vengeance for Anna. All right, we're gonna make this a campaign goal. So thanks again for everybody hosting me and letting me be here, and everybody in the audience cheering me forward. So really appreciate it.
Now I am a genie in a bottle, and hey, I get to come out about once a month, but not on any kind of regular interval. It's when I get off of work. So
she's a ranger
my next time
in a bottle.
will be the last Sunday in May. See what kind of fun we can have before the bottle sucks me back in.
Don't lose the bottle. Don't lose the bottle.
No, we're gonna make a special belt loop for that thing.
Yeah, she's now become a fantastic item known as the Ranger in the bottle.
Does that make me like Link now that I have a fairy? Does that work?
Hey, listen.
He's like, can I attune to Anna? It's like, is Anna my magic item?
Yes.
Oh,
so
no.
Powerful.
We're not done yet. You know, we will reveal what has just occurred if you guys survive the combat that our new player has just initiated by making an attack within the walls. And all those guards will be responding. Love running games. Come join us on the Plot Points Discord if you get an opportunity. So come join us over there. But I want to thank you, each and every one of you, for being part of our show, part of our stream, part of our family. Truly, at the table, we make amazing memories, but we make even better friendships by just spending time with each other. So whatever table you're at, we wish you the very best gaming experience. Happy gaming, and God bless from all of us here at Plot Points. Wave goodbye, everybody. We're off to go stream right now.